Hi everyone, Sir Jomar here and thank you for joining us in our discussion in the Fundamentals of Biology 2. This is our very first topic in this subject and we'll be discussing on the introduction and Module 2.1 plant reproduction. Now for today's discussion, our objectives would be twofold. Number one, to identify various plant parts that are used for asexual and sexual reproduction. And then number two, to describe and recognize patterns in the reproduction of species across the basic plant taxa. Now, these videos are very helpful, so please do watch them so you can have a further understanding of our topics. Angiosperm, flowering plants by Professor Dave Explains, vegetative propagation by Biology Bugbears, and also sexual reproduction in plants by Fuse School. This will be very helpful for you. Now, this picture will show us the Earth, and it's very familiar, and it's a fact that there are a lot of organisms here. We have the plants, we have the animals, we have the fungi, we have different kinds of microorganisms. And it's interesting that for a long, long time, living organism has been filling this earth. Now, it's impossible that the organisms from a long time ago are still alive today. So, how do they fill up the earth? Well, the organisms long time ago produced progenies, produced offspring, which then produce their own offspring, generation after generation after generation, leading to what the earth looks like right now, filled with myriads of microorganisms, filled with myriads of living organisms. So that is why the process of reproduction is very, very important. So since we're talking about reproduction, we have to compare two of the major types of reproduction, which would be the asexual and the sexual reproduction. Now, taking note of the following criteria, let's make a comparison between asexual and the sexual reproduction. Starting first with the first criteria, number of parents. How many parents are needed for asexual reproduction? So you know this. The answer is you only need one parent. On the other hand, for sexual reproduction, you need two parents, a male and a female. For the second criteria, what offspring looks like? For the asexual reproduction, the offspring would look like their parent. How? They are identical to the parent. On the other hand, for sexual reproduction, the offspring would have a combination of the two parents. Now, going to the third criteria, what do the DNA look like? For a sexual reproduction, the DNA will also be identical to the parent. On the other hand, for sexual reproduction, it would be the DNA would be a combination of the two parents. Finally, how about the fourth criteria? What cells are involved in asexual reproduction? The type of cells involved will be somatic or body cells. So this will be including the eye cells, the hair follicle cells, the muscle cells, the skin cells. On the other hand, the sexual reproduction will involve cells that we call as gametic or sex cells, particularly the sperm cells from the male and the egg cell coming from the female. So this would be the comparison between asexual and sexual reproduction. Now, since we now know about the comparison between sexual and asexual reproduction, let's now apply this in the different groups of living organisms. Let's start off first by discussing what asexual reproduction is in microorganisms. So when we talk about bacteria, they will undergo binary fission. So in binary fission, what actually happens is that you have your mother cell, and then inside the mother cell, the DNA will replicate, and they will separate into the two ends of the bacteria, and then it will start to separate in the middle, eventually producing two identical cells, which are also called daughter cells. So that will be binary fission in microorganisms like bacteria. Here is a video of that. So here is a bacteria undergoing fission. Here is the bacteria undergoing another fission. And that's the whole process wherein a mother cell produces two daughter cells. You can also see here that these guys are a lot of microorganisms. They are reproducing, they're undergoing binary fission. And that is why we would be recalling that our parents will be telling us, don't eat the food that has been left overnight. And the very reason is that the food has already become filled with a lot of microorganisms that can cause upset stomach. So don't attempt to eat those kind of food, especially when they're left overnight. Okay, so binary fission in bacteria would be the asexual method of reproduction for these kinds of organisms. Now, aside from the bacteria, let's look at another microorganism. How about the protist? Now, for the paramecium, which is a member of the protist kingdom, they also undergo binary fission. In this case, it will be split into two after the different organelles has been replicated, duplicated, and transferred to each of the daughter cells. So they also undergo binary fission. Here's a video of a paramecium almost at the end of their binary fission. So you see here from a single paramecium, it now underwent splitting binary fission. Now you have two daughter cells here. Here's another video of that. You'll see that, and you already see that the binary fission is almost complete here. So the paramecium, the protist also undergo binary fission. Now, since we're done with asexual reproduction, how about sexual reproduction? Now, the sexual reproduction in bacteria will involve what we call as a structure called the pilus, as you can see here. It is a tube-like structure, hollow in the middle, wherein DNA can pass through, genetic material can pass through, so that it will be able to recombine with the other bacteria. So you can see here that the bacteria on the right has a different genetic constitution compared with the bacteria on the left. There's a blue and red DNA over here, whereas the bacteria on the right only has the red. With the use of the pilus and the replication of DNA, the replicated DNA will be transferred to the bacteria on the right, thereby recombining or producing a new combination for the bacteria on the right. So this is what we call as sexual reproduction in microorganisms. Particularly, it is technically called conjugation in bacteria. Here is a scanning electron micrograph of E. coli bacteria. You can see in the middle that there is a pilus wherein the DNA will be transferred to the other bacteria. And here's a video that will show us the red portion will be the DNA that will be transferred through the pilus, and it will go to the other bacteria, and there will now be recombination happening here. So this is sexual reproduction because there is an exchange, there's a recombination of genetic material. Now, it's not only in microorganisms like bacteria, it also happens in protists. Now, here is a paramecium. It also undergoes conjugation, and in this case, two parent protozoans would be coming together in contact and will be exchanging parts of their micronuclei. Please do notice that for one paramecium, there are orange micronuclei here, while the other paramecium will be having green micronuclei. Now, they have underwent conjugation and eventually exchange their micronuclei. So at the end, you will have an orange and a green for the left paramecium, and then a green and an orange for the right paramecium. And you can see here already that there is an exchange of genetic material. There is a combination of genetic material. So this is under sexual reproduction. Here is a video of that wherein the two paramecium are in conjugation, although you cannot see the exact time and the exact exchange of the DNA, but definitely the conjugation has already happened. And that would be it for the asexual and sexual reproduction in microorganisms.